As a firefighter, when you see flames of that magnitude and devastation, what comes to mind first and foremost?
With things being that size, first thing comes to mind is what can we do to help? Unfortunately for us, not being in California, I mean, I look out my house window right now and we've got 6 or 8 inches of snow. So it's not something that people here in Utah think happen year round unless they start watching the news.
When you started seeing what was happening in California, did you figure that Utah would have some involvement in any way possible with this?
Yeah, we've got a really good emergency management program here in the state of Utah. They've developed a really good relationship with California and the Office of Emergency Services there, Cal OES. So usually when they start getting big fires, especially with such devastation like this, the chances of us sending out resources to California become pretty high.
You've been out on these deployments before and have been all over working wildfires, but California is always kind of a different beast, especially when you factor in those winds. What's the mindset going specifically to California compared to what we run into here in Utah?
Like you said, the big thing in California, especially watching the reports coming in, is the winds. Wind throws a completely different beast into fighting wildfire because the winds can shift on us. It can change the direction of the fire. It'll dry out some of the fuels a lot quicker. It definitely makes it a little bit more of a challenge to go out and try and contain the fire as best we can or push it away from structures.
A fire of this magnitude or multiple fires of this magnitude with so much devastation and homes lost and businesses lost, what does that mean for what you might be doing in terms of an assignment when you get there compared to maybe other assignments you've been on?
This time right now, I just got the list. We're sending down what looks like 15 engines from various departments throughout the state of Utah. Most of those are what we call a Type 1 engine, which is your traditional structure engine that you see going down to your 911 calls or on house fires. So looking at the resources that they have requested, I'm anticipating us doing a lot of structure protection. Like I said, just trying to get the fire to skirt around the homes to keep it out of neighborhoods, businesses, things like that.
Seems like that's pretty valuable given the amount of structures already lost.
Yeah. Like I said, the last report I saw was about 1,000 structures lost, and I saw something that there were 2 fatalities already. So we definitely want to try and get down there and see what we can't do to help out the people of California.
Have you been on something of this magnitude?
I've been on several fires down in California. The Thomas Fire was probably one of the bigger ones with devastation like this. I've been on the Mendocino Complex when Battalion Chief Matt Burchett was killed, but it didn't impact homes to where we saw like this one is. So this will be probably an eye opener. We've been down there when we've gone through neighborhoods, and 90% of the neighborhood is all just rubble.
What's it like going down with different agencies, not just the guys and guys and gals you work with in your fire district, but the inner workings of your West Valleys and your West Jordans and Salt Lake City and UFA and Woodland Hills is in this one and Moab Valley. I mean, it's a variety of different all corners of the state really stepping up.
Yeah, for me, I really enjoy going down on these EMACs as a strike team or a task force of engines, all from the same area. You do them enough, you go down on these wildland deployments enough, you're going to keep seeing a lot of the same faces come in. So you already have an idea of the specialties and expertise that these other people have had because you've worked with them on previous deployments.
In terms of a landscape and terrain and topography and winds, what sets California kind of apart from everything else when it comes to fire behavior that you've seen in your career?
The development, I mean, they're putting homes kind of like what's happening here in Utah right now is they're putting homes in anywhere that they can. But the big one for this is going to be the Santa Ana winds. Last report I saw, they had one gust of 99 miles an hour down there. I'm not sure what time that was, but that's going to make a lot of people really nervous. It's going to blow the fire up. It's going to push it one way or the other. You definitely got to keep your situational awareness up and aware of what's going on around you.
Well, on that subject, what keeps you level-headed in a situation like this and keeps your crew safe?
Training and experience. We get out on enough of these. I mean, like you and I have talked before, I'm gone all summer long, be it California. 2 years ago was North Carolina and Georgia for wildfires, Texas. Every place has its own little unique quirks as far as especially terrain and topography. And then you just kind of have to fall back on that as well. Some of the overhead leadership that's going down with us from our agency reps. It looks like most of the strike teams are going down with a qualified strike team or task force leader and a trainee. So we're going to have a lot of good experience down there.
Deployment length, is that always kind of a typically set thing, and then you see if you're extended?
Yeah, generally we plan for 14 days plus your travel days. So we're looking at 15, 16 days down there. A lot of it kind of depends on how fast we can get the fire hooked, caught, contained. If all of a sudden they get a good amount of rain, that could shorten the deployment time. There's always the potential for them to try and get people to extend for another 7 days, depending on what happens with the fire. So, but we always plan and commit for at least 14 days.
It's amazing. You know, you look outside your window, you've got snow here. Have you in your career had January deployments as well?
Chief, my deputy chief and I were talking. I've never been on a wildfire in January. I have been to where I got home on December 22nd, and then I've been out in, I think it was February or March. So I haven't had a January one yet, so this is definitely a first. Kind of looking forward to getting to some warmer weather, some palm trees, leaving the snow for a couple of weeks.
I know Utah's not necessarily unique in this, where we send out, you know, when somebody asks for it, but Utah's known for lending a helping hand to your neighbor, humanitarian efforts, all that sort of good stuff. Does this kind of just speak to the community here in Utah, always kind of jumping when we have the opportunity to help?
It really does, especially with the support from the cities, the city administrators. For, like you said, we've got West Valley, we've got Orem, we've got Draper, we've got Salt Lake City. I saw South Jordan. I mean, we've got a lot of different agencies and different cities, mayors, and everything else that support this. And like has been said in the past, is we know sooner or later we're going to be putting out our hands saying we need some help. So we try and kind of lay the foundation, and so when we decide we need that help, it's already going to be knocking down our door saying, what can we do to help you guys?